So we're all living the human experience. And what do we all have in common? That we're holding a perception, okay? A perception in this life. We either have a perception or we're letting go of our perceptions. So the question is, we want our dream life, we want to feel abundant, and we want to reclaim ourselves. But what keeps us limited? What keeps us in the same place? Your perceptions. Shift your perceptions and set yourself free. Let me show you why.
Man, I want to go after my dream life, but my family and friends, they don't support me. But I can take time and go after my dream life. Man, so many thoughts in my mind are driving me crazy. I feel anxious, I feel depressed. But what I can do is create space in my mind so that can bring clarity and peace.
And how do you do that?
By letting go. Welcome back to What's the Matter Coaching. My name is Crystal.
My name's Oscar.
And 3 questions for you. What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with the world?
And what is matter really?
So 3 questions that allow you to unlock why you're here on earth and how you can shift yourself into your truest self. Yes, your conscious self. Why you're walking this earth. What's your potential? How can we evolve? How can we reach the point of enlightenment so we walk this plane of existence knowing ourselves?
Yes. So, quick recap of the subject today. What are the 3 things that we're going to discuss? Are we going to the same as why, what, and how, or are we going to...
Yeah, so today what we're going to do is we're going to do what's the matter with you, right? What's the matter with the world, and what is matter really? So
Okay.
These 3 questions we're going to use to talk about today's topic, which you saw a little bit of at the beginning of the video, which is perceptions. Shifting your perceptions sets you free. If you learn how to manage and how to utilize your perceptions, perceptions will set you free. Now the question is, how can we shift our perception, and what perceptions are we currently entertaining? Okay, so that leads us to what's the matter with you? Okay, what's the matter with us, right? The people. Why is it that we are constantly suffering as a collective? That we have constant chaotic minds, and a lot of times we get overwhelmed with emotions? Well, the reason this happens is because we're participating in a lower octave of consciousness. So when we plug into this lower octave, what begins to happen is that we become saturated with a lower octave expression of self. That means that we start to express ourselves from this lower octave, feeling lack, feeling less, right? And being overwhelmed by our mind and our body and our emotions.
And our own perceptions about things.
Yeah, and these perceptions that we have, right, in regards to what it is that we like to think about, the reasons and how we choose to feel, it all goes back down to what perceptions you're plugging in. Okay, because like we showed you at the beginning of the video, every single thing that might be going relatively wrong in your life can be shifted into the best outcome when you choose a different perception. So right now, before we move on any further, ask yourself,
What perception?
Yeah, what perceptions are you entertaining? Okay, are these perceptions open to freedom so that you can set yourself free? Or are the perceptions that you're feeling allowing you and keeping you to stay stuck at that lower octave of consciousness? Okay, so let's explain to them a little bit about what a perception is when you keep on doing it over and over and over and over again. What does that create?
Repetition, a pattern.
And what's a pattern?
A pattern is a habit.
And a habit is?
A way of the persona, the ego, the habit it creates through the
So if you hold a perception, it
Yes.
creates personality.
personality.
Okay, so if you're basically accumulation of perceptions, right? And if those perceptions are not true, right, or that they're limited, then you're literally a person that's not based on truth. You're not a true person, are you? Whoa. That might hit home.
That hits the heart. It's
That-
like
yeah.
for someone to tell you you're not being like that is like, What?
Yeah, and so that leads us to a perception is a habit, a repetition, a personality trait, and also a belief system. Because if we are believing that we are a person, a human being, that means that we are believing these perceptions that we entertain on a daily basis. So if you're not constantly shifting your perception to something new, to something that can set you free, then you're essentially not evolving. And if you're not evolving, that means you're staying the same. And if you're staying the same, then, well, that sounds like a complacent reality. But we're here to show you that there's much more. There's much more that you can shift, that you can start to let go of these perceptions. But it's about understanding what perceptions to get rid of and what perceptions to keep. And we hope to tackle that now with our next question. What's the matter with the world? Okay, when we look at the world as a collective, we can start to see the massive level of physical perceptions that, let's say, the government, culture likes to keep alive. Okay, we like to overly fantasize and exaggerate the importance of material things. We're at a mall right now, right? And a large majority of the people walking in this mall are going to feel attached and very, very focused on why they're here, which is to gain, right, material things or to enjoy material things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is that when we constantly choose the perception of loving and liking material things, we create a perception and a pattern.
One of the things that going with that you're mentioning now is seeking pleasure in those things.
Yeah.
When the pleasure that you're seeking, it has to be, nothing can be more satisfying than your own self-pleasure.
Yeah.
And don't put the pleasure of being yourself in nothing.
Material or external. Because what happens, a lot of the times, you guys might have heard this, that people think that they're their clothes, right? People think that the importance of who they are is resembled by the clothes that they are wearing. So we have someone that's wearing, let's say, a very expensive outfit, and what happens? They think that validates the importance of their personality, when that could be further away from the truth,
Or
because you are not just a personality. There's much more, and we're going to get into it. Go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting you. Or you even start feeling less because the perception that you have is that I don't have money, and that person, because it has like that brand new clothes with, you know, like with.
Yeah, it makes you feel bad.
It makes you feel bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is very important to realize, because you can go to the mall right now and you'll see what we're talking about. That people literally are overemphasizing this perception of material things that creates the personality. But again, we're trying to unlock more of the personality. We're trying to create from a new place. We're trying to live our most authentic, our dream life, which is not based on just the accumulation of material things. So the basis of this conversation is let go. Let go of this perception. You are not just your clothing. You're not just what you have materially, but you have much more beauty which is within, and that beauty is the level of your consciousness. That beauty is the development of your soul. Okay?
And what perception are you having? The perception of, whoa, I like this shot. The perception of being just a human, or the perception of the divine?
Of the divine. And so now we introduce a new perception. So how do we cure? How do we cure and how do we dissolve this perception of material things that develops our personality? Well, it means shifting our perception a little bit more energy oriented. Okay, when we allow this energy to flow through us, this perception of energy, of course, we then allow ourselves to embrace this energetic nature. We start tapping into the fundamentals of the soul, what it means to express love and authenticity and transparency instead of what I have and what you don't have.
And what I am.
And what I am because of what I have. Okay?
Or what I do.
Or what you do, exactly. Because if you go to the mall every day or eat out at a restaurant every day, that's creating the personality trait of, oh, I'm always going out, right? And so this is just to show you that you have much more authenticity, much more beauty lurking within, okay? And as soon as you start to shift your perception, automatically, once you shift your perception from material to soul, energy, essence, you're setting yourself free. Because now you're not limited, now you're not blocked by an ego expression. Now you're free to understand yourself, and you're free to learn the new dynamics of creating your life. That's not based on, oh, I need to work hard, I need to save money. No. that you can be led by a more divine, universal force and intelligence, which is your soul intelligence, your soul level awareness. So moving on to the last one, the last question in regards to perception is, what is matter really? Okay? So when we arrive here, we can then talk about...
I can have it here.
Yeah, take it a little bit.
Okay, time for shift.
Shift. Okay, so what is matter really? So a lot of the times, the majority of humanity is still holding the perception of what I learned in school, or what I learned in college, or what I see with my parents and friends dictates the creative faculty of reality. So let's talk a little bit about what actually dictates the faculty of creation. That's right, they don't teach that. But that's right, they don't teach that on a massive worldwide level. So a lot of people start off with the law of attraction, and they start creating their lives via the law of attraction. They open their mind and they shift their perception that they have the power to attract whatever it is that they want.
But I wanted to say something here before you keep going, that yes, the law of attraction is great, but don't stay there, because I started there in my path, and it was more material thing oriented.
Material orientation and infatuation. When if you just stop at the law of attraction, you're so close to reaching that next level, which is understanding what is matter, that you're not just creating by working hard or saving money, but that you can create from the place of you being a little mini universe, you having the power and the co-creative force of the universe that you live in. Okay, and once you begin to do this and acknowledge this and realize this, then we start to set forth a new level of momentum, a momentum that's not coming from ego expression, that's not coming from personality, but momentum that comes from energy, massive energy, divine force. And once you unleash that, then you are going to literally align for a couple of months, and you can set yourself forth 5 years ahead in life. Okay, how does that sound? How does it sound to shift from your current reality 5 years ahead in 5 months? Yes, that's the power of you shifting your perception, letting go of just a human, right? And living life just as a human, but recognizing that you have a depth, you have a power, you have a potential to embrace and to unlock. And once that power is unlocked and understood and embodied, then you're a walking universe. You can have whatever you want. You can be a leader to all these people out here, right? That are human beings. And you can be the example for them too, so that more and more people throughout our lives can wake up. Your parents, your friends, they can begin to shift their perceptions, because if you go ahead and talk to anybody in society, they're going to talk to you about their perceptions. They're going to think that their perceptions of what they have been taught are actual reality. Guys, if you're watching this video, your perceptions are based on your accumulative experience of what you've been perceiving thus far. That does not mean that your perception of reality is the ultimate reality. No, no, no. There is much more to perceive. But how are you going to perceive the rabbit hole, right? God, universe, and the higher truths and the higher consciousness if you have yet to shift your perception, right? Start to shift your perception, make space for an open mind, for magic, right? That you can create miracles, for example. Expand your consciousness to that level of perception, and then your perceptions will automatically set you free. Because you're no longer going to want to perceive rigidity. You're no longer going to want to perceive limitation or materiality. You're going to want to perceive something a little bit more greater, something that's more deep than the normal conventional human, right? This is going to be the ladder that we're climbing here on our path of awakening. Welcome to What's the Matter Coaching. Hopefully we allowed you to awaken to a higher truth so that you can upgrade your perceptions. Let go of the perceptions that don't serve you, that are boring and material and egotistical, so you can allow the magic, which is a real perception, a perception that is aligned with source, the universe, and God. Now that's a perception. Much love. I hope you're ready to start manipulating matter.
Guys, ultimately, beauty comes from the soul.
And you're
Cannot
beautiful.
go without saying that. Bye.
Bye.